welcome to Nerdly Out Loud, the official podcast of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British website for all your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. We cover it all, from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget. I'm your humble host Kevin Halden, and this one is a little bit different because I recently saw a movie that disappointed me. It really disappointed me. But this film got me asking, what the hell happened? What actually happened here? Because as far as I was concerned, you had one job. The movie is Wonder Woman 84, as you'll see from the title. Yeah. The way I see it, in 2017, Warner Brothers, DC, Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, you all made the perfect Wonder Woman movie. You all made this fantastic film that came out. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. It made a bunch of money, and you went straight into production on your next movie. It was like, let's do this again. You now had the fans on side. The DCEU had not exactly lit a fire under people. It was kind of stumbling through. Snyder got booted off Justice League and replaced with Joss Whedon. We all know what happened there. One job is all you had, and that was to make a good sequel. Didn't have to be as good as the first one, but a good one would have done. Full spoiler warning, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the movie, not scene by scene, don't worry, but sort of like step by step, giving some of my positives, some of my negatives, and I'll explain why. But spoiler alert, you have been warned, I am going to be going through the movie. I will be spoiling plot points, but to be fair, I'm probably doing you a favour. 2.5 hours? What are we going to do for 2.5 hours? Not a lot. 2, 3, 4 action sequences, a really, really bad boss fight, some cringe crit. But you know what? No, it's not all negative. Not everything is negative. There are things in this movie that I really liked, and we'll deal with all that. So I'm not going to sit here and tear the movie apart. I just feel like things they did wrong, they did very, very wrong. Let's start with a positive. Absolutely, best place to start would be a positive. And that's because the movie starts with a positive. Themyscira looks amazing. It just looks fantastic. Again, probably my favourite part of the first movie was the whole Themyscira sequence with all the Amazonian warriors. And I kind of know a couple of people that played Amazon warriors. That's awesome. Let me just toot my own horn there. A lot of people are complaining because it only really makes sense because it ties into something at the end, which is fine, but you've got to have scenes like that. I didn't mind it at all. Lily Aspel, she is fantastic, plays this role brilliantly. And I read an article that basically said she did all the stunts. She did all the stunt work in this sequence, which is a quite hefty action sequence, because none of her doubles could do the role any kind of justice. So props to her. Massive plus. At least we got this right. Some Connie Nielsen, and we got all the Amazon warriors, and I just loved it. We jump into 1984. Wonder Woman is living in secret, which I guess kind of makes sense for superheroes. But how does nobody remember what happened in the first movie? There's still going to be people alive. But anyway, so we jump into the 80s. We get a generic Mall of America kind of vibe. Jewel heist going on. They're trying to steal trinkets and whatnot. Diana turns up as Wonder Woman. Looking amazing. We get our technically our second big action sequence. She looks fantastic when she comes out. I love it. She takes off the crown. She uses the crown as a boomerang to destroy some cameras. Don't really understand why she's doing that. I think it's so she can hide her identity. However, that's not really how video cameras work. Footage will still be there, in another location. That's how video cameras work. Me personally, I actually really dug this. I dug this scene. Total cheese. Everybody's wearing the colourful clothes, they've all got the mustaches. And one thing I am definitely going to say, huge positive in this movie, is Gal Gadot slays it again. She is phenomenal as Wonder Woman. She plays a great Diana Prince, a great Wonder Woman. I want to throw positives in here, but this is potentially this is my biggest problem with the movie. I find this to be just lazy screenwriting 101. I don't know what they were thinking here. When they go into the jewelry store and they're stealing all the jewels, there is what is called a dream stone. You heard that right. It's a dream stone. A dream stone is basically a lamp, a magic lamp, that you make wishes. It's the plot point in this movie. I hate this. I'm just not a fan of this, especially with what Maxwell Lord does with it. I'm just not a fan. I don't know if this was like, how do we get Steve Trevor back? This is how we get Steve Trevor back. What is Diana going to wish for more than anything else in the world? To have Steve Trevor back. It's a MacGuffin, it's storytelling, but it's the laziest kind of storytelling. Could have just had him like Steve Rogers, sort of in the ice, and then they unthaw him years and years later, California Man style. Just do something like that. Don't just do this. One of those positives that I was talking about a quick second ago, Kristen Wiig as Barbara Minerva. I love her. I genuinely thought she was fantastic. I think her arc throughout this movie works. She works at the Smithsonian with Diana, and so she's like really super duper clever and everything, but because of that she's not exactly sexy and she's a bit of a geek. So she kind of wants to be better, she wants to be powerful, she wants to be strong. She gets that because we have a Dreamstone in the movie, so that's all good. We're gonna get what we want. Her arc is probably the best arc in the movie, although it kind of becomes a little bit redundant in a way. They realise that they've gone for 2.5 hours and we've not really done anything, so we're going to push that storyline to the side. Huge positive in this movie is Kristen Wiig. She's fantastic, and if you want to make another one with Kristen Wiig, set the whole thing on Themyscira, I'm okay with that. Take it to Themyscira, take Kristen Wiig there, Gal Gadot there, let's go on movie number 3, because by the way, they greenlit that after this. Yeah, after this movie, they greenlit Wonder Woman 3. Methinks Warner Brothers got a little bit scared because some of the reviews weren't looking good. There is one I did not see coming. Pedro Pascal. Mandalorian, I think he's fantastic. I think he's perfect as the Mandalorian. Kingsman, he was great in Kingsman too. Really, really like Pedro Pascal. What on earth is he doing in this movie? And I'm not saying that in a way of like, oh, what's he doing? Why is Pedro Pascal in it? Like, of course he should be in the movie. He's a great actor and I want to see him in everything. In this film, he's kind of channeling Nicolas Cage. When you first meet him, he's like a little bit sleazy and a little bit like cocky and, hey, I'm Maxwell Lord and all this and I'm the big oil tycoon. Gets the wish stone and decides he wants to be a genie. Christ. God's sake. Toasty! Unless I see an interview with Pedro Pascal where he basically says, they wanted me to play a genie, my character wishes to be a genie, he wants to be the genie of the wish stone and whatnot, unless he comes out and says that, so he based his whole performance on Robin Williams in Aladdin. It's an 80s villain. How can you mess up an 80s villain? You can't. 80s villains are just supposed to be cheesy, campy villains that want to destroy the entire world. You ham it up, but you don't go over the top. Over the top's too far. Pedro Pascal goes more than over the top. He goes full Nick Cage in this movie. Wasn't a big fan of it. Jay Baruchel was going to play this guy in the Justice League movie with Armie Hammer and the guy from Dusk Till Dawn. Jay Baruchel was going to do that role. I've read that script. It's a fantastic script. Jay Baruchel, ladies and gentlemen, could have put in a better performance than Pedro Pascal. Something I never thought I'd be saying in 2021. But here I am, saying it. Thank you, Patty Jenkins. Steve Trevor's back! Yay! How are we going to do that? We're gonna put him in some cryogenic chamber and that's how we're going to bring him back? Have him, like, do some, I don't know, anything's better than this? I saw all the reviews early on of people complaining about the fact that Diana wishes for him to come. And by the way, Patty Jenkins and film lovers and film goers and everybody watching this, she doesn't actually make that wish. You touch the stone, you make a wish. So there's a guy who comes over and says, oh man, I wish I had a cup of coffee. And then he's given a cup of coffee from someone. That's awesome. It works. That's how the stone works. Maxwell Lord gets the stone and says, I wish I was you, and becomes a genie. Minerva says that she wants to be like Diana Prince. She becomes the cheetah. Spoilers. She becomes the cheetah and has powers. Awesome. Diana just kind of holds the rock and says, oh, I think I know what I would wish for. She doesn't actually make the wish. Yet Steve Trevor comes back. Essence, or his soul, I'm not entirely sure how it works, it's a bit convoluted, inhabits a human body, but it's somebody who actually exists. So he becomes that guy, and that guy I guess goes in like a coma inside his own body while Steve Trevor walks around as him. What we see, what the viewer sees, is Steve Trevor. We see Chris Pine, good looking man, awesome. Chris Pine's back, can't wait. Let's crack on with the movie. In my mind, I'm sitting there watching this. My 36-year-old brain is having to comprehend the fact that we see Steve Trevor. She sees the guy who is credited as handsome guy, whatever. She sees him, so it's like the whole quantum leap thing. She beds him that night. She sleeps with him that night. And she's kissing him left, right, and centre. And they're getting into shenanigans together all the time. But she sees, not Steve Trevor, this other guy. There's a way to bring him back. I just think there's better ways. And they maybe should have went for one of those better ways. But the people who are crying out like, oh, it's non-consensual rape. No, shut up. It's a superhero movie. It's not supposed to make that much sense. But it's got to be cohesive, and it's got to be better than this. Surely somebody went up to Patty Jenkins and said, all you've got to do is be better than the Joss Whedon film. That's all you've got to do. Do it. You'll be fine. Being said that, Pine and Godot are fantastic. They flip the fish out of water thing, in the first movie. She's come into the real world, so she's a total fish out of water. She doesn't get everything. He doesn't know what the 80s are, so an escalator tickles him. I'm all on board with Chris Pine doing this. I'm all on board with this relationship. I absolutely love Godot, as I've said a million times. I love Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. I've said it before. They are fantastic together. The chemistry is right there on the screen for you, so I can't take anything away from these scenes. Could they have done a little bit more of the 80s thing? Possibly. Did they over-egg some of the 80s thing? Possibly. I'm okay with it. I don't have 216 fingers. I wish I did, though. 216 is the amount of people that worked on this movie. As in, I'm not talking about, like, all told. The SFX, the visual effects, the editing effect, the animation effects. There's like 216 people worked on this. So how does it look so god-awful? I read something that said, when the first movie banged and the first movie did so well, Warner Brothers and DC ran out and they were like, Patty Jenkins, make another movie. Full creative control. Do what you want to do. Make it your movie. It's going to be awesome. So Patty Jenkins turned around and says, right, first thing, I'm cleaning house. Snyder's already in the bad books. He's gone from my movie. My franchise will carry on without Zack Snyder. He also got rid of his visual effects team, his stunt teams, which probably explains what went wrong here, because his team for visual effects is a cohesive unit. They know what they're doing. They are very, very good at what they do. It looks ass in certain places. Not all places. There's the road chase. There's this huge road chase in Egypt, in Cairo. Should have been for all the marbles. This is where you put all of your money for your special effects, is in this scene. Wonder Woman you've seen some of it in the trailer. She sort of lashes herself all over the place. She's going from truck to truck. But it just looks terrible. Gets out of the car and starts running towards the trucks. That's kind of what she's doing. I think I could do better effects than that. I've got a green screen here. I'll do it now. Just no. There's a point where he literally gets a rocket launcher, okay? Puts the rocket in, shoots it up. She lassos onto the rocket, uses it to propel herself, throws it to the side, and then lands on the ground, grabs onto a couple of dummies. Clearly dummies, they look awful, it's just really bad. From the trailers, seemed like it was going to be the best part of the movie. Like, I've been pretty negative for the last couple of minutes. So what I'm going to do is a random, quick fire, positives. Linda Carter, cameo. Linda Carter, she plays Asteria. She plays a little cameo in the middle of the movie when they're trying to give you some exposition about this warrior uniform that Gal Gadot wears for all of 2 minutes, and then it disappears. Unbelievably wasted again. Turns up in the mid-credit scene as well, which it could possibly be setting up a third movie. I don't know. I really don't know. Young girl, Lily Aspel, she is wonderful as young Diana. If you want to make a young Diana movie spin-off, I'm watching it all day long. She is just fantastic. She plays it really well. Again, Themyscira looks fantastic. Kristen Wiig is amazing. Not exactly one of my favourite actresses in the world, especially comedy-wise. I guess that's her niche. She is great in this movie. She has a good, solid arc. Yes, okay, it's a tad redundant towards the end, but it's a solid arc till they don't need her. So yeah, Boomerang stuff, really, really liked it. It's a nice callback to the TV show back in the day. Linda Carter used to do all that stuff. Really nice callback to that. The best movie I've ever seen. It just had to be a good movie. Respect the movie that came before it and set up a movie that's coming next. Still be part of the universe, because this is easily like its own thing. But then it also throws a curveball of the whole Justice League thing. Like, why did they never once ask her about that time in the 80s when the world nearly ended, when Maxwell Lord nearly destroyed the world? We're not going to talk about that? Okay, just put that to the side. That never happened. That was the 80s. What happened in the 80s stays in the 80s. I do need to talk about the ending. The ending is insane. I have seen a lot of people say that the second half of this movie is way more solid than the first half of this movie. It's not. It falls off the face of a cliff halfway through. Action sequence number 1 in Themyscira, brilliant. Action sequence number 2 in the mall, brilliant. I like it. It's not perfect, but it's a great introduction to the character, much like the introduction in the first movie, much like the introduction in BVS, much like the introduction in Justice League. It's a great introduction to the character. Thank you. That's awesome. It kind of drops off when they're all making their wishes and becoming who they want to be and whatnot, and telling us what the movie's going to be. Well, 3/4 of the way through, we have that really bad road scene that I just hate. I just hate that scene. Go back and redo it. Give me a Snyder cut of that one scene. I'll be happy. Hashtag Snyder cut Wonder Woman. Yeah, let's get that trending. Let's get that trending. We kind of come to the end of the movie, and Maxwell Lord's plan is that he's going to make everyone's wishes come true, whereby taking all the power that he wants, causing instability in the world. All the different countries are going to start fighting each other. The Russians are going to fight the Americans. What's that I hear you asking? How do you defeat a genie? Because obviously Max Lord is this massive genie by the end of the movie, and that is that. He is going to destroy everything. Wonder Woman kind of has the perfect way to defeat him. Get ready for this. Remember how everybody was going on about how the Themyscira thing doesn't really make a whole lick of sense towards the storyline? It kind of just is there, then the movie gets going proper, and that is all we really have. Well, you kind of get told in that scene, because Diana sort of cheats, she lies a little bit about it. So there's this whole through line in the movie about how cheating and lies and everything like that are bad. You will not get away with lying. The truth will always prevail. Fuck off, movie. I'm going to end it there, because I'm done. Like, this movie, I had such high hopes for this. Maybe my hopes are too high. Maybe this is my problem and not the movie's problem. The first one was fantastic. That first film was brilliant. Hopefully you see it and you really enjoy it. Hopefully you get on with the film and it's everything you hoped for. You think it's better than the first one. You think it's on par with the first one. All faith to you, because at the end of the day, that's what movies are there for. We are there to be entertained by movies. I personally was not entertained by this. My 9-year-old, she booked out halfway through. She was just like, you know what, it is too cringe. She walked out. She didn't even get to see the Invisible Jet, which, by the way, the Invisible Jet is awesome. It's pretty bloody cool. Although he then tells her that, oh, I've always been able to fly because I'm a pilot and it's just ingrained in me, and that's how piloting works. You can just fly a plane because you flew a plane in World War One. Yeah, I'm going to book out now, because I feel like I've been a little bit too negative. I don't really like doing this. I like to be positive about my movies. I especially like to be positive about my DC movies, because I love my DC. I'm a big DC fan. I'm a Batman fan. I'm a DC nerd. Coming up, I may do this again. I don't know, because literally I was just spurred on to do this. But Patty Jenkins, all you had to do was make a good movie. That's all you had to do. It didn't even have to be good, just decent would have done. Could have been a bridge movie into the next movie. Have your trilogy. All good superhero movies are trilogies. Now I just don't know if I want to see another one. Make your own mind up. Do go and see it, everybody. If you enjoy it, please do let me know. Put something in the comments. If you think I've been too harsh, do that as well. Just let me know. Hopefully haven't gone on too long with this one. Movies are being made to be viewed. It can be good, it can be bad. It really doesn't matter. A movie's a movie. It's there to entertain you. You're supposed to be entertained, so do it. This one for me though, Patty Jenkins, you've dropped the ball. I'm gutted. I really am gutted. But we have a bonus coming up, because Snyder Cut's coming. Was it March or something? March, May, June, whatever. Give me that movie now. Give me that movie. Especially give me that movie now. Gal Gadot, you're still awesome. You're still my Wonder Woman. I still love you. You can come back. Patty, you can come back as well. Just do better next time. That's all I'm asking. Do better next time. You can't do worse, so you're off to a good start. Nerdly Out Loud, this has been You Had One Job. Patty Jenkins, you had one job. For me, you failed. But if people do enjoy the movie and it means we get more superhero movies, I'm good with that as well. We've got loads more content coming for the channel. We've got loads more interviews, reviews and whatnot. I might do some more of these. Please do hit that subscribe, smash the notification bell. It will tell you when we have episodes upcoming or incoming or when they've dropped. I don't really know how notifications work. Check out the podcast, Nerdly Out Loud. See you later. Have a good one. I'm out.